Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'll just show you how to set up the windows for any sort of web development purpose. There are three things that you need. One is Visual Studio Code, which is a code editor. We will simply download this. The site here is code.visualstudio.com. We'll come there, you will simply download it. The next is a site called NodeJS.org. I will recommend the LTS version. So let's download that as well, which is being downloaded. And finally, the third thing that you will need is Git, which is inside git-scm.com. There you will find this Git. Simply download for Windows. And here, download the standalone version of your current bit Windows setup. Most likely it will be 64-bit. All three of them have been downloaded. So now let's install it one by one. We'll start with the Git, double click on it, click on next, 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 next. You can choose the editor of your choice. I'll select for now the notepad, then next, next, yes, next, 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 next. Everything is next and that's it. You don't have to worry about anything else. Let everything be taken care of by the Git. Because you are just starting this journey, don't worry about the setup of these tools in depth. Once this is done, come here and install this Visual Studio Code. Okay, let's continue. Accept, next, next, next. Select these and next, next, and install. Once that is done, let's also install at the sideline the Node version. Next, accept, next, 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 automatic, no. Next, install. Since this is a beginner setup, you don't have to worry about the in-depth installation or in-depth understanding of how these tools work. This is just the setup. So make it as simple as possible so that you can start the journey of learning what truly matters in this, which is HTML, CSS, and other things first. And then you can come back and optimize and, reset up everything to your requirement. And then finish. And this also finish. This is your VS Code. I have pressed F11 so that the entire screen is now big. Here you will find the setting where you can have settings, profiles, themes, color scheme, and everything. This is your folder directory view. This is where you have search and replace throughout the entire site. This is your Git version control system. This is debugger, and this is the extension, the most important thing apart from the settings. We will install certain extension out of the box. The first thing that I will install is live server. This is by Ritwik Day, so install it. The next thing that you should install is VS Code icons. Okay, select this and now it is installed. Then you will need something called Prettier. This is for code formatting. So this Prettier code formatter by prettier.io, install it, let it install. Then you will need something called ESLint by Microsoft. So simply install it. Then you will need something called Tailwind. It is this IntelliSense by tailwindcss.com. So install it. It is by Tailwind Labs. Finally, you will need something called .env. At the very bottom, you will find something called .env support. You simply have to install it. And that's about it. This initial setup is good to go. And you will have these extension and this much is enough. So let's test it out. I will open a folder in my desktop. I'll create a new folder called dummy and select this folder. This folder is now opened in my VS Code. I will have to trust it and then I'll create a new file from here. I'll call it index.html and I'll put the exclamation mark, which is shift 1 tab, and this is my boilerplate of index.html. Click on this settings. This will open a bunch of settings. Let's put it like this. Simply drag and drop. Now we can change our settings and we can see how they look here. The first thing is font size. Let's make it as 20. This is much better. In the font family, you can have any font you want. Let's start with Source Code Pro. Source Code Pro is something that I like and it is working. If you don't have this, you have to download it using the Google Fonts. Download it, install the TTF files, and that should do the entire trick. The tab size, I'll say only 2. Then the word wrap, right here we have word wrap, make it as on, type format, on save, one is on paste, tick this, on save, tick this. Then choose the formatter, the default formatter, make it as prettier, search for it, choose it, and that should do the trick. Now search for the weight, click on this font weight. I like to have my font weight as 500, and this is your initial setting. One thing that you can also do is line height. Mark this as 1.5, and this will be much better for our readability. This is your Visual Studio Code setup and ready for any sort of web development, the basics ones. And this is the go live, which is the live server. So let's click on this. And this is my documentation, which is serving this file. Click on this. Now let's try to see what this actually does. Which one? Tab. VS Code comes with Emmet by default, so you don't have to install the Emmet here, the shortcut for writing better and fast HTMLs. Now I can just simply say our VS Code setup is done. The moment I save it, everything is formatted and this is visible right in the browser. There's also one thing at the very top. This is terminal. Click on this new terminal, and VS Code provides you inbuilt terminal, which by default is a PowerShell. Go to the settings one more time. Now type terminal. You will find in the terminal itself space font. In this font size of the terminal, make it as 20 as well. Make this as source code pro as well if you want. Node -- version. We have our Node version here as well, which is 18.18.2. The same can be said with Git, which is Git. So now you're ready with the Node environment and with the Git environment and the VS Code to start your journey as a web developer. Hope you like this. If you did, subscribe this channel. There's a Next.js series, course series that is going on. You can watch it, and yeah, bye.